Happy Tuesday! You've made it to the final day of e-learning. You're almost done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. You made it. Way to go. So for today, as you could probably guess, you are doing your final poem writing activity. Woohoo! And this time, true to form, it's about sonnets. So first things first, I'm going to go over the directions that I already gave you on Google Classroom. Maybe to your benefit to pull them up and follow along. Or don't. I'm not your boss. But here I go. Write your own 14-line sonnet using the Shakespearean rhyme scheme and iambic pentameter. Do not worry about using iambs because your natural speech pattern will likely put it in place. This poem can be about anything you want, but it must have a problem or situation in the first 12 lines that either reaches a solution or a twist in the final couplet. So this is kind of your way of demonstrating to me that you've learned something about sonnets, right, over the last couple weeks that we've been doing stuff like this. So on the other ones, I didn't really give you a length requirement, you just had a content requirement, right? It had to be about something or be related to something. On this one, you have a length requirement, but no content requirement. So it can be about literally whatever you want, as long as it's PG-13 or tamer, and as long as it is in that sonnet format. So really the only things you have to worry about with a sonnet are, first of all, that it is in that it's only 14 lines. So those of you that have only been writing 3 or 4 lines in your poems, well, you may need to step it up a little bit more for this one, right? And then the second thing is the rhyme scheme, which you should already be familiar with if you did Wednesday's e-learning correctly and annotated that second page the way you were supposed to. So a sonnet's rhyme scheme is A-B-A-B, C-D, C-D, E-F, E-F, G-G. So the letters that are the same are lines that rhyme with each other. So like the 2 A lines rhyme with each other, but they don't rhyme with the C lines or the D lines or the G lines. They're all different rhymes. If you need a refresher on the sonnet rhyme scheme or the mechanics of the sonnet, go back and look at those sheets that you did for your Wednesday e-learning, okay? And like the directions said, don't worry too much about like the rhythmic quality of this. First of all, when sonnets are in iambic pentameter, it's not perfect iambic pentameter, right? Like they tend not to have the most perfect rhythm of da-da, 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 da-da. They fall into that pattern overall, but it's not necessarily perfect. So don't be worried about it following into that pattern. Like the directions say, your natural speech pattern will more or less make it into iambs. The only part that you really need to be somewhat worried about is pentameter. Penta is 5, so there's got to be 5 poetic feet per line, which 5 means like 10 syllables. Again, if you have like 11 syllables or 12 syllables, it's not going to be a big deal. And really what you need to focus on is having like 5 accented beats. Does that make sense? So if you're reading through da-da, 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 there's 5 accents. Even if, you know, on some of your unaccented beats, maybe there's 2 in there instead of 1. It's not a big deal. And I would recommend as well going back and looking at these sonnets that we've been reading if you're having trouble rhythmically and charting that out. But I am not going to be like super duper stickler about your iambic pentameter, okay? I am really focusing more on, is your sonnet 14 lines? Does it follow the proper rhyme scheme? And does the content follow the content pattern that Shakespearean sonnets are supposed to, of in the first 12 lines explaining this problem or this situation, And then those final two, reaching a solution or introducing some kind of twist. Those are the things that I am the most concerned about when you're writing this. Now, there are two thinking questions for this, and that helps kind of guide the content, because the first thinking question, right, explain the problem or solution in your sonnet. Explain the problem or situation in your sonnet, and then explain the solution or the twist. So that's going to kind of help you with that. As always, if you need help, ask me. And the last thing I have to tell you is make sure you're checking the due date, because for this one, since it's worth more points and it might be a little more challenging for you than the other poems, it is not due until Monday, November 30th, so you don't have to have this due in 24 hours. Just make sure it is done before you, hopefully, walk back into the classroom on Monday, November 30th, okay? I hope you guys have an awesome Thanksgiving break. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this, and I cannot wait to see you back in class come Monday. Bye!